Hello Rebel and welcome back to my life. It's a little over a month now since the election, and I don't know about you, but life's been pretty different around here. I'm a person in a place of immense privilege. I don't have a regular job, I don't have to worry about confrontations with bosses or coworkers, I don't even have to worry about extended family if I don't want to. But I've been trying not to hide behind that privilege. I've been trying to be active online and speaking out with my videos and my Medium articles about all of the things that Donald has done even before taking office. His assault on free speech and freedom of the press, his waffling back and forth on whether or not he'd divest himself of his companies, and his totally inadequate solution a few days ago that he'd be handing everything off to his kids. His solicitation of favors from foreign leaders and his daily diplomatic disasters. Christ, I can't even imagine what he's going to be like in office. My professional life is now composed of two things, my artistic creativity and my political activism, but I have tried to keep politics out of my home life as much as possible. I am worried enough about my kids' future. I don't need them to be worried about it too. But I am terrified of having a daughter in a country that has elected a sexual predator and misogynist into the highest office. I'm terrified that she will be governed by a political party in all three branches of government that has shown nothing but disdain for women's rights and women's health. And I'm terrified of having sons when our commander-in-chief seems to be an international war waiting to happen. I'm just thankful that they're not old enough for him to draft them to protect one of his international hotels, because I totally would not put that past him. But more than that, I'm afraid of them taking on the same ideals that are so prevalent in our country right now. I'm afraid that we'll grow up learning and adopting Donald's racism and misogyny and religious discrimination for themselves. The other day, my daughter told my wife and I that Mexicans were bad people, and when we told her that was completely unacceptable, she broke down crying and said that she had heard it from kids at school, and that they were saying it because Donald was saying it. That's the country I have to bring my kids up in now, a country where I have to constantly check to make sure that they're not absorbing emboldened, rampant bigotry. It's a country where they could grow up attracted to the policies of the KKK and neo-Nazis who have been given a powerful political platform. Never before this year did I think that was a real danger. I knew I wanted to raise my kids right, and I had no idea how many people I knew that thought that bigotry was acceptable enough that they would vote for a man who proudly wore it like a badge of honor. And that, by the way, is the primary reason I have been cutting people out of my circles. I don't care what people say to me online or in comments, but I will not let them explain to my kids all of their justifications for why they were able to vote for a man who is so patently immoral and unethical and corrupt and criminal, and who literally devalues the lives of my family. But of course, there's no way to completely eliminate my kids' exposure to these things, unless I was to cut them off from all contact with the outside world, which would of course be even worse. My kids have multiple times come home scared that their friends at school were in danger or that Donald was going to start a war, and that is just from what they're hearing at school, because my wife and I do not talk about this at home. And I want to reassure them that it's all okay and that everything's going to be fine, but it is hard to do that when I myself have no confidence that everything is, in fact, going to be fine. Donald supporters are doubling down on their defense of him, even as he appoints blatant racists and anti-Semites to cabinet positions, people who believe that my wife and her family and our children are an inferior race who are corrupting America. These are the ways Donald has already changed our country, weeks before he's even stepped into office. Like I've said before, we have to keep living our lives, but we also can't forget that this is happening. It cannot become normal, and I in particular cannot ignore the fact that it is going to be so much worse for other people than it is for me, or even for my kids. We have to keep working against him in every way we can. He has already made the present worse for my kids, and I will not let him ruin their future as well. Thank you for watching, Rebel. Stay safe, I love you, and I will see you on Monday. Bye!